Hello, folks, and welcome to Birth and Baby Talk. I am here with my lovely guest, Shweta, who from Ayush For Life, and Shweta is a Ayurvedic practitioner, right?
Yes.
So, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Leanne.
You're welcome. So, why don't we start right off by talking about what Ayurveda is, or and what an Ayurvedic practice might be?
Sure, sure. Why not? So, to start with, I would like to chant a mantra because, according
Sure.
to Ayurvedic culture, to start a new project, we always need the blessing from our elders, from our scriptures. So, here I go.
Okay.
रागादिरोगान् सततानुशकान् अशेषकाय प्रसितानशेषान् औत्सुक्यमोहारतिता जगान यो पूर्ववेद्याय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै. I bow down to my elders. I bow down to my God. I bow down towards my teachers, towards the scripture that I read. I bow down to the great Almighty who has given me this opportunity to speak in front of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. uh,
So how would you describe what Ayurveda is?
sure. Um, Ayurveda is one of the oldest healing systems in the world. It is 5,000 years old and it is
Oh,
still being practiced in India as we speak, 2021.
okay.
And it is one of the indigenous practices that originated in India.
Mhm.
And there are so many aspects to it. The literal meaning of Ayurveda is the science of life. Ayu means life, and Veda means knowledge. The
Oh,
science which gives the knowledge of living a healthy life is Ayurveda. It is people nowadays, those who know yoga, those who are connected towards yogic sciences, they think that maybe Ayurveda is related to some kind of herbs, some kind of decoctions. But I want to clear this air, which
okay.
is which is it is a mindset, it is a philosophy, it is a lifestyle. It's not about taking some kind of regimen or cleanse or some kind of food practices that you can adopt to. Of course, that includes Ayurveda, includes all these interventions,
Okay.
but it is not clearly this catering only to diet, only to lifestyle. So it's a combination of so many practices. I would say it's an ocean. There are many indigenous practices all over the world that sink into Ayurveda, and I'll explain it in a minute or so from now how how our practice of being a doula, being that support person, was already mentioned by the acharyas, the seers, uh, who wrote Ayurveda. It's basically they chanted these mantras, and they are telling that the women during labor, in the antenatal period, in the postpartum period, they are in a very vulnerable position and they need that support.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk about it, about how doula practices and Ayurveda they sink in, how Ayurveda can help women in their postpartum period, how Ayurveda can help them in healing. So yeah, this is an overview, superficial highlights of what is an Ayurveda, what is that Ayurvedic science.
Okay. So meditation is used, but it's not just like there's meditation that you do as a thing every once in a while. It's like an integral, holistic way of sort of practicing nutrition, body work, personal mindset, self healing, all of those sorts of things, all integrated throughout your entire lifestyle.
Absolutely, you got it
Okay.
correct. You just, hit the nail, Leanne. So it
Excellent.
is the combination of meditation practices, the mantra healing, the body work, the energy work. So many of holistic practitioners who are having these, they call themselves as the chakra health practitioners. So they are mainly focusing on the chakras, and some of them are concentrated on Reiki practices. Some of them
Hmm.
are solely focused on meditation. So Ayurveda involves all these facets of
Okay.
health, and it's a combination of all. Again, the word you said, the holistic. So
Yeah.
according to WHO, World Health Organization, health is and doesn't mean the absence of disease. It also involves your mental well-being.
Yeah.
And according to Ayurveda, again, um, the credit I would say goes back to 5,000 years back when acharyas they decoded the definition of health, which includes that all your mind should be in sync with your body, and how the agni or the fire element in your body should be maintained, how the waste product should be going out, how the atman or the soul inside you should be happy. That's what it is called a healthy person, a swasthya person.
Yes.
Whereas only catering to the physical parameters of the body is just touching the tip of the
Hmm.
iceberg. There is 95% of the subconscious mind which we haven't tapped into, is basically what Ayurveda does. So
Okay.
if you are going to an Ayurvedic consultation, you can expect the person, the practitioner, the expert to ask you not only your current history, the current health problems that you're having, but they will dive deep into some of the questions that you think might find them weird, like they are not even related. But
Okay.
interestingly, all those questions are related to the doshas, which is basically the three energy humors described in Ayurveda: Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. I'm going to give a little bit overview of what these doshas are.
Yeah.
So the basic principles of Ayurveda involves three doshas. Three doshas. So what are doshas is nothing but energy in our body, you know. And according to Ayurveda, we as in human beings are not separated from the nature. As the nature has five basic universal elements, which is basically your fire, earth, water, ether, um, and space. I'm sorry, ether is space, water, fire, earth element. The same way, our body is also made up of those five elements, and they,
Mm.
in combination, combines together to form three doshas. So ultimately, the question come to the basic, the element, like we say, we have atom in a physical space. The same way we
Hmm.
have these three doshas in an Ayurvedic space.
Okay.
So when we say that a person is not feeling well, is sick, or um, even though physically that person looks very healthy, but mentally that something is going on. People are suffering from mental anxiety. They are suffering from depression. That also means that the three doshas they are imbalanced. They are not in same level that they need to be in order to remain healthy. So an Ayurveda practitioner will assess how much imbalance is there and what
Okay.
all practices a person can adopt in the form of meditation, in the form of food, in the form of lifestyle modification, in the form of pranayama or breathing work, in the form of yogic practices, or the other word that is most commonly used here, asanas. uh,
Hmm.
these all these yoga poses they combine in together to balance those energies, to
Ah.
balance those doshas. So um, this is how an Ayurvedic expert help a person start their healing. As the person goes, as those doshas get balanced, a person will see that there's a general well-being in the body. There's that happiness. There's that emotional health is being uplifted. That
Yeah.
spiritual sphere, the energy is going around that person. The person feels fantastic. Not only the physical symptoms they wandered away, They start receding away, but a person feels very, very happy. That's a sound of a healthy person when we talk to. So
Yeah, because all of their systems are in alignment with each other, right?
exactly.
Okay. That
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
So how could this have an impact on the postpartum period?
That's a very good question. So many of my women patient clients, those who want to start, have that healing period in postpartum, and we know that a body has already gone through a physiological trauma. Again, depending upon case to case basis, some can be normal, some can be surgical intervention, but
Mhm.
overall, it is a trauma for the mother and trauma for the baby as well. And that is why in Ayurveda, there is a regimen, there is a specific regimen for postpartum women immediately after giving birth that is called Prasuti Charya. The technical term that we use in Ayurveda is Prasuti means postpartum, Charya
Okay.
means certain kind of regimen.
Okay.
So the most critical period in the postpartum is those 45 days. The first 45 days
Mm.
can go to 3 months. Can again be some of the period. All these regimens can still be implemented or adopted till 1 year of the birth, the delivery. So
Okay.
if I talk about those 45 days, is normally when during the antenatal period, as the woman is progressing in her pregnancy, the abdomen is increasing, the baby is growing inside, there's a life, there's a prana, there's the energy in within the women, and she is progressing her day to day activities. So basically the air element in her body is increasing. So the air element increases, and in other way, I would say the Vat element in her body increases. As the
Mhm.
baby is out of the woman's body, the space, the hollow space over there, it's still there. And our body is such a miracle, such a God's, I would say, gift that our bodies, uterus try to involute in those, first, as soon as the placenta is out of the body, as the
Yeah.
baby is out of the body, the body tries to come back to its space. But still, at this period, the women need support, and
Yeah.
that's why these Ayurvedic principles, they help it out. So the air element in the body, which is already at this level, needs to come down.
Okay.
So there are, again, the Prasuti Charya talks about so many practices, the body works, as well as the nutrition part, especially for the postpartum mother, so that her healing can be expedited, and she can, there are so much going on in her body. She is lactating, her pelvic area, which is sore, it needs healing. She needs rest mentally. Uh,
Yeah.
she doesn't know what is going on. There is so much going around her. The first week,
Mhm.
especially, the first week is most, the learning curve for the baby and the mother. So
Yeah.
at that time, if she, again, if she eats certain kind of food, if she, do some kind of things, in the form of lifestyle, her healing will be expedited, and the
Hmm.
chances of getting postpartum depression, or the most, it is absolutely preventable if,
Okay.
again, the women does X and Y Z things, which I'm going to talk about, which I'm going to share with you right now. How, what
Okay.
are those practices that women can adopt?
Oh, that would
So
be amazing.
yes, yes, absolutely. So Ayurveda, again, talks about we have to balance that Vata dosha in a woman's body. There's a sutra that's coming into my mind right now. It's Nahi Vatadite Yoni Narinam Pradushyati. So basically, it talks about that there is no any disease in a woman's body where the Vata dosha is not involved. In other words, we have to balance the Vata dosha to so that the women can feel that she is getting to that healing space and she's getting healthy. And
Okay.
in a postpartum women, the again the practices, the conventional medicine practices, and we have this evidence base that more skin to skin is there for the mother and the baby. The more triggers the brain gets, okay, to produce oxytocin and to produce, then again it's a positive feedback mechanism so that she
Hmm.
produce more and more milk. So as a doula, as a support person, our any women who is struggling from breastfeeding challenges or struggles, we always our first go-to solution will be to have that skin to skin.
Yes.
And amazingly, all these practices again are mentioned in Ayurveda. So
Hmm.
as soon as the baby is born, that the baby should be on the chest of the mother for a considerable period of time. So they don't talk about some time period, but they say that it should be maximum. The baby should be maximum on the women's chest, right?
Yeah.
And that is something which has been, again, been practiced in traditional tribal communities for years, and this is a very best, I would say, line of solution for any women who is suffering from that postpartum period, or that healing period. So
Hmm.
first will be the more skin to skin, and the second will be again the air element I talked about. Is it's basically cold in nature, the physical. So think about like this:
Hmm.
if you go, we are Canadian, I'm proudly Canadian. If we go out and in the winters, as soon as there's the cold winter hits us, how do you feel? How do you feel there?
Yeah. Well, that happened to me last night when I forgot a sweater and I felt like I had to pee all of a sudden. I realized the afternoons are warm in the fall and the evenings are
So,
cold.
yes, so
But yeah, so I shiver, right? I was shivering a little to try to generate a little warmth, and I suddenly had to go pee, but that might just be me.
no, it's everyone. It's everyone who can feel that the air is cold in nature. You
Yeah.
just said it. The air is cold. So that coldness in the body, you cannot measure it. There is, in Ayurvedic parameters, the Ayurvedic parameters are quite different from the conventional medical science.
Okay, yeah.
So that coldness needs to be balanced. So we have to get some any kind of hot, you know, food or hot properties to combat that coldness. So how do we do that?
Mhm.
We give, the postpartum women is given lukewarm water to drink. So for first
Okay.
45 days, just let go of whatever month of the year is, or whether it's winters or summers.
Yeah.
Even if it's summers, the women ideally, if she is in that prasuti kala or the postpartum period, she needs to drink lukewarm water. That's our
Okay.
first, I'm sorry, the second practice that she needs to do. So first one is more skin to skin, which everyone, knows who
Yeah.
are prepping up for their postpartum period. And
Exactly. That's very common now in Western medicine,
yeah,
especially in this area. It's a
yeah,
huge focus
yes,
for
yes.
right after baby, and it's been incorporated now in every like hospital and midwifery practice.
Yes, and that is I find it very I feel very happy about this, that they have embraced this this solution that is coming from these indigenous practices. And
Hmm.
again, and they are backing this up with the research, which is again a plus point. People who are more inclined towards the evidence-based researches, they want to know why are we doing this. So there's a scientific, so-called answer for them. But again, we are doing these practices for years now. And
Yeah.
again, the second practice that I see here, where less women they take in, but again, women coming from the South Asian descent, they know this practice in their prasuti kal.
Hmm.
They have warm water for the first 45 days. Say, though,
Okay.
they won't drink the cold water. Again,
Okay.
so drinking cold water will increase the vat, which is already increased in your body. So
Okay.
we want to decrease it rather than increase it. So you can have herbal teas, which are not having any caffeine in it. So
Mm-hmm.
herbal teas again is a very good option for women who are in their postpartum period, or simply warming up the water and drinking lukewarm water whenever they are thirsty,
Okay.
right? So this is the second, tip, Ayurvedic tip that I would like to share with my audiences, is to, if you are in a postpartum period, if you are, breastfeeding your baby, even if you have, passed through that 3 months period or 45 days, you can still drink lukewarm water. It
Yeah.
will, it will help you digest the water. Why? Because the digestion here is basically because of the fire element, and you want to increase that fire. Without going into technical stuff, just start drinking lukewarm water
Okay.
if you are in that postpartum period.
Okay.
And again, the third tip that I would like to share with our audiences is to start massaging your body. So skin is the largest organ in our body, and through skin, we think like, okay, the best we eat, the best we get. But I will say that the all the things that you're putting on your skin, the environment you're surrounded, your skin is surrounded by so much of an, different type of environment. So
Mm-hmm.
keeping it as natural as possible, and using oils, like for example sesame oil, the cold pressed sesame oil, cold pressed coconut oil. If you can massage, give your body at least 5 minutes to 10 minutes of, bare massaging your back wherever you can before
Mm-hmm.
bathing with the lukewarm or hot water, as you like. I would say not hot water, but lukewarm water is good for your body.
Okay.
Uh, just, massaging your body for 10 minutes with these oils. Again, it calms down the vata dosha. Why so? Because again, when the cold air hits us, or our skin becomes very dry. Why do we need so many moisturizers during the winter weather? It's because the air element, it is very drying in nature. So to
Okay.
combat it, we need something which has that oleation effect, which is
Okay.
oily in nature.
Yeah.
So having that moisturizer, won't do much. You need to have that oil, and that use that extensively. Do not just one layer, just massage your, let that oil sink in your body, and you will see that overall you feel rejuvenated. All the toxins in your skin, they are getting cleansed off. And this requires, again, a woman, she, as much as I want to convey that she needs rest, the same way I will ask, like, if she, her supportive partner, or maybe any elder in the family, if they can, hold the baby for some time, or maybe if the baby is sleeping, they can do this massage
Mm-hmm.
for these 45 days, uh, just for a short period, 5 minutes. The level of healing will, is this much. They
Okay.
won't even see, like, in how many ways that these practice are helping them out,
Mm-hmm.
right? So in the concept of doula is very new to Indian culture, I would say. Why? Because we never, the work that a doula does here in North American region, or in the Western Hemisphere, it's the same work that an elderly mother or a mother-in-law will do, because
Mm-hmm.
as in South Asians are very much family oriented. They live in a
Yes.
community. The community practice comes in when it comes to doula work. So all those supporting persons, supporting things that we do as a doula are being offered by some elderly women or a women in the family for a pregnant birthing person,
Yeah.
for a birthing person. So the massage practice, these are being done, and these are being provided in the family, as soon as the woman, She is there, and the baby is with her, and they are not allowed to meet anyone. So
Yeah.
limiting that guest, period, the number of guests during that postpartum period to have that more bonding with the baby. This is also another practice, Ayurvedic practice.
I
Again,
like that a lot
it is
as
being
a doula.
it is again being embraced in here. I see in Western Hemisphere, limiting that, and of course during pandemic, this has become our normal new, right?
Exactly,
So
exactly.
my fourth point will be limiting your exposure to so many of visitors. And I know everyone wants to hug the baby and give blessings to the mother, but at this point, limiting those people, even if you can of course talk to your partner, talk to your decide out what plan you want to make, how to introduce the baby to the other friends and relatives. And of course pandemic has given us a little bit of people are kind of accommodating this. Earlier people might find it rude that they are not agreeing to introduce the baby, but now this is okay, they understand. People are quite conscious of this, that the
Uh-huh.
baby is new, the baby doesn't have that immunity. So breastfeeding, bonding, there are so many practices. Some are embraced, some people don't know about, which I'm right now sharing with you. Again, the fourth one is limiting the guests. The guest list should be shortened up, and only have help from the people who wants to support you,
Yeah.
right?
I just had this conversation with a client last night when she
Mm,
said, like, now that the baby is going to be coming very, very soon, she was feeling like very nervous about like who to let into her home, how long to allow them to be there.
yes.
And so we had a little discussion about limits and
Mm,
how, as parents, it's important to learn how to set boundaries for
mm,
ourselves so that
mm.
we can protect our own peace and our own choices in our lives and our children, and how I always say, like, if you feel uncomfortable limiting visitors,
Absolutely.
to just like completely, if that is what feels safest, or to a couple of very close chosen special people, if you feel uncomfortable, I always say, tell them your doula said it, because nobody's mom is going to come and yell at me. But that's one thing that we have seen over the pandemic, is that people have actually, because they have consciously limited for health reasons the amount of visitors in that really critical early newborn period, that we're actually seeing parents have a lot of parents are having a much better mental health experience, because
Mm,
they don't have to worry about people coming into their space, and they have the
yes,
time to like just settle into parenthood, learning about themselves and their baby and how to parent together. Um,
absolutely.
yeah,
Uh,
that's
that's
awesome.
so there is some positive side to the pandemic.
Yes, there are. Honestly,
Yeah.
there definitely are. Is there a fifth part of your practice?
Yes, I would like to share, and this is the last one, which
Okay.
is basically to prepare fresh cooked meals for the mother.
Okay.
So I understand that this can be a little challenging
Mhm.
for couples who are living by themselves and they don't have any kind of help. And I've seen this in my practice a lot, especially over here, that they try to freeze the meals 2 weeks or 3 weeks ahead of the due date, and
Mhm.
they don't want to cook. And I understand the time piece over here, but again this goes totally against the Ayurvedic principles,
Okay.
um, because according to Ayurveda, the energy or the pran of the food you are consuming in becomes the part of your system. So
Mhm.
if you are taking a cold, a frozen meal, and again, of course, you are heating it up in microwave or whatever in oven, but that doesn't solve the utterly purpose. And if you can, take it down a little bit and cook, food for yourself, or maybe take help from your friends who can cook, fresh meals for you. that will be a great help. There are services over here in the community that offer those tiffin services, fresh food,
Okay.
and they are quite tasty. I've tried it just, out of curiosity. And
Like Hello Fresh or the Good Food Box
yes,
or
yes,
something? Yeah.
yes, yes.
Okay.
So you can maybe have that subscribe to their service and
Mhm.
start eating those fresh meals because again your body is going through a lot and eating those cold food again will increase the vata dosha, which we
Mhm.
don't want. So having those fresh meals is quite essential for your healing. That's
Okay.
that's that's one point. I want to talk about a little bit more about the frozen meals over here. So
Sure.
there is no concept of frozen meals in India.
No?
The place where I come from, it's always the fresh food, always, always. So I was quite intimidated when I came here and I saw that people they freeze meals and we have frozen meals. It's not about the type of food that we are exposed to. It's just
Mhm.
that it's just in the culture. I would say it was
Mhm.
quite different from where I'm from. So
Mhm.
again, the culture shock piece was there when I came in and I saw that you know depending yourself more and more on processed food in the form of convenience food and hopping on to those frozen food is not quite healthy for your body. And
Mhm.
this explains a lot why there is so many allergic diseases, especially the skin diseases. I So many patients who are living here for considerable period of time having Indian descent, they suffer from these allergies, and when they come in they tell me that they didn't have this when they were in India.
Yeah.
And then I talk about how their lifestyle has changed, how their dietary choices have changed, and then coming to that conclusion is having that health plan mapping. I always tell them to, if they can have that me time in the form of cooking food from themselves, for their bodies, for their soul. It can be very beneficial in a long term, right?
Mhm.
So you can take medicine at any point of your life if you have an access to, but the long-term strategy over here is the lifestyle part
Yeah.
and the nutrition part. And people, they are coming back to nature. They want to go through these holistic therapies. They want to know what they want to have food as natural as possible. They want to have the organic stuff and not the fruits which has been injected with so many unknown chemicals. uh,
Mhm.
and they are getting this knowledge. And it's the sad part of capitalism, I would say, that the health of the people, they are being compromised because of so much stuff we are exposed to as in the form of environment. So getting close to
Yeah.
nature and eating as natural as possible, having those fresh meals, that warmth, that sneha, that love comes in when you eat a fresh cooked meal. It's the best gift that you can give to a postpartum mother. Best gift to a postpartum mother. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I think honestly, a nice fresh meal is the best gift you can give to yourself or anyone you love.
Absolutely.
And I think, yeah, it is. In North America, because we don't live in more familial communities, like more extended family communities, although I have a theory that we're on the precipice of that changing with the housing market being the way it is. I have a feeling we're going to go back to multi-generational homes, which is
Mhm.
a much more South Asian lifestyle.
Mm,
But so we don't have like a mother or a grandmother who is there who has the time availability to be able to like be
mm,
cooking when the younger people are out working all day
mm,
and is not passing on to sons and daughters
mm,
how to make these foods.
mm,
And even myself, I come from more of like a very homemade food culture.
mm,
And even myself, I find myself sometimes feeling like I don't like it seems too complicated in my head sometimes. And I have to step back and say, it literally is the same amount of time or less to whip up, say, a dal soup for myself, which
Mm.
is full of vegetables, full of good protein,
Mm. Mm.
full of like delicious spices and flavors and things. It probably takes less to do that than it does to pull up Uber, spend 15 minutes looking through the options, getting the whole family to agree on something, ordering, and then waiting for it to arrive.
I'm
In that
glad.
in that time, I've already made like a huge pot of soup, which I can have for lunch the next day as well, which is going to nourish and make us all very happy. And honestly, after this year and a half of pandemic now, almost 2 years, I've eaten out far more times than I should. And the food that I make at home, even when simple, always tastes 10 times better. So,
Certain.
yes. We definitely need to gravitate more to that. And thank goodness there are, content creators all over the place now who are able to put together quick and easy but very nutritious meals for people. So even those of us who feel like we don't necessarily have the skill set for it can learn how to nourish our bodies and our souls properly.
Absolutely. I
Mhm.
agree with you on that 100%, Leanne. And I find it great that you want to invest your, that time period in cooking for you. And
Mhm.
and to be frank and honest with you, it gives me that, that spiritual energy that I'm doing something for myself. It's kind of a
Yeah,
self-care practice. uh,
absolutely.
don't go and spend X number of dollars in having that me time. I would say cooking for yourself is also one kind of self care practice
Yeah.
that that needs to be embraced by people if they want to get healthy. And this is the shortest solution that I can give to many people, because the cause of our diseases here is we are having more and more processed foods that we should not be. Our body is not able to digest it. So
Yeah.
yeah, that will be my 2 cents in the healing of postpartum women. And I wish the best of healing journey for every woman, every audience that who will be listening to this conversation. Thank you so much, Leanne, for inviting me.
You're very welcome. I'm so glad you shared this information because it was very easy to understand. It makes a lot of sense, and I think it is just an entire like practice of nourishing yourself, nourishing your mind,
Yes,
nourishing your heart, nourishing your body,
yes,
nourishing those around you. So it seems I really like it, and it just seems like there's
it's
no way it goes wrong for anyone,
yes,
to care for themselves and their baby and their extended family as it radiates out from themselves.
true, true.
And the really great thing for our folks who are on our newsletter is we'll have for our next newsletter, which is going out next week, we're going to have these 5 practices on a document for you so that you can see them. And if you want to incorporate those into your life and into your postpartum practice in your first 45 days or beyond, or if you'd like to just try them on as an Ayurvedic way of looking at healing yourself and providing self care for yourself, you can absolutely do that. Thank you so
Happy.
much, Dr. Shweta. This is
Thank
very lovely to have you today.
thank you so much, Leanne.
And if anyone is looking to find out more about you specifically, please tell us where we can find you.
Sure. So we are running an Ayurvedic holistic center in KW area, Kitchener-Waterloo area, named as Ayush For Life. And the things that I talked about here um, is especially we have packages for the postpartum women. So if they want to know more about those services and how they can help them in healing, just hop onto our website, which is www.ayushforlife.com, and you can have those packages laid out for you. You can see what all we offer in the form of consultations, in the form of massages that I talked about, and how, again, how they can help you out. So feel free. And if you have any questions, just DM me, reach out to me on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, Pinterest. We have different social media platforms we are active in. And I will be happy to help you, happy to guide you to the right resources and help you towards, healing. That's what I do. I'm passionate about.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I hope you too learned something new today and found something that you can incorporate to make your life better. And stick around next week. Come back. The lovely Megan Grant will be here. And I believe we're talking about fashion next week. So please come back and join us live on Facebook and YouTube at Wednesday at noon. And if you are not signed up for our newsletter, get signed up for that. We will pop the link into the comments today. And yeah, I
Thank
hope
you.
you're all having a great day. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.